Hello, students. Good day. Welcome to LNHS TV, a venue where you can learn even when you're at home. I am Sir Gian and I am your grade 11 math teacher. Together, let's make this math fun and exciting. Let's make it together, Math Dali.
Meron akong kaibigan pagharap ko sa mundo.
Pagsagot sa tanong, ilan, ano, alin, paano.
Matang katulong
Sa ating pagsulong, paglikhat, pag-unawa ng hiwaga. Minsan ang math mahirap at seryoso, nakakatakot, nakakalito. Buti na lang may kasama pa tayo, sipag, tiyaga, isip at talino. Magtanong, mag-isip, huwag matakot magkamali. Magtanong, mag-isip, ang mahirap ay dadali. Magtanong, mag-isip, ang matyaga matutunan. Magtanong, mag-isip, hey! Sabay-sabay tayo. Kaya mo, kaya ko, matutunan ng math. Kaya mo, kaya ko, mag-usap, magsikap, isip, plus, tiyaga, equals madali.
Statistics. It is a practice or science of collecting and analyzing numerical data in large quantities, especially for the purpose of inferring proportions in a whole from the representative sample. It is a kind of discipline that combines mathematics, research, economics, and practicalities of life. Questions such as who have the highest TV ratings in a TV shows, or who are among the candidates in a particular election have the higher poll survey, the average scores of the students, or in a group chat where you want to know the preference of your classmates in a certain issue. In this case, we use statistics. This shows how important statistics is in gathering reliable data so that we can come up with reasonable decisions. When we engage in any competition, we either win or we lose, but we are not certain of the outcome. Even when we participate in games, again, outcome may be uncertain, but we know that three situations may happen. It's either we win, we lose, or get even. When we think of chances, we think of probabilities of an event. And when we think about competitions, games, and opportunities, we have random outcomes. Random because outcome is uncertain. Today, let's get ready and together we discover the world of random variables. Our life is a series of chances. Let's talk about chances. Have you been engaged into competitions or games? Or games found in your smartphones? Most of the games we see in our smartphones are chance games. Games that are repeatedly done under similar conditions. When we talk about chances, it means we are also dealing with probabilities. In probability, when we do an activity that can be repeatedly done under similar conditions, we are actually doing an experiment. Can you remember an experiment like we did in your grade 8? One classic example is tossing a coin. Can you try? What do you think is the result? I'm sure some of you got a head and some got a tail. The result of a trial in an experiment is called an outcome. If you repeat this activity, is the result always a head? If your answer is no, I agree with you. What other result did you get? I'm sure some of you got a tail. The result of the possible outcome in an experiment is called a sample space. In this case, the sample space is either a head or a tail. Let's have another experiment. When we roll a die, what is the sample space? Remember, sample space is the result of all the outcomes in an experiment. If your answers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, your answers are correct. Thus, the sample space of rolling a die are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 because these are the possible outcomes when rolling a die. Sample space is often used in getting the probability of an event. When tossing a coin, what is the probability of getting a head? If you answer 1/2, then your answer is correct, for there is 1 out of 2 chances that the result will be a head. Thus, the probability of getting a head is 1/2. What is the probability of getting a number less than 5 in a roll of a die? If 2/3 is your answer, then you are correct. Because there are 4 possible outcomes when we talk about getting a number less than 5. The result can either be 4, 3, 2, or 1, which mean 4 out of 6 can be an outcome or 2/3. Take note that when we write a fraction, it should be in a simplest form. This classic experiment that we did, rolling a die, tossing a coin, are chance events. Chance events because outcome is uncertain. A random variable is the result of chance event that can be measured or count. A random variable is a variable whose values depends on an outcome of an experiment. A random variable is denoted by uppercase letter and its possible values are denoted by the lowercase letter. Example of random variable is the number of head acquired when tossing a coin twice. Let's represent getting head as H and getting tail as T. Note that the random variable X is the number of heads acquired when a coin is tossed twice. Kindly get a coin and try this activity. Since this is a chance event, our outcomes may or may not be the same. What did you get? Did you get 2 heads? A head followed by a tail followed by a head, or 2 tails? Is the result in your activity found in our list? Now this list represents the sample space. Since X is a random variables of getting a head, let's count the number of heads in each outcome. For our first list, the outcome is 2 heads. Remember, it has to be numerical, so we write 2. And the second and third outcome in our list, we have 1 head in each outcome, so we write 1. In the last list, we don't have an outcome that has a head, so we write 0. Now, what are the possible values of the random variable X? If your answer is 0, 1, or 2, then you are correct. It means that the outcome of the trial may have no heads, 1 head, or 2 heads. Let us expand our understanding of the data and create a table. In the first column, write the number of heads in descending value. In the next column, write the sample points with a designated number of heads. In the next column, write the number of occurrences which refer to the number of items in each sample points. Take note that 1 outcome resulted to 2 heads, 2 outcomes resulted to 1 head, and 1 outcome resulted with 2 tails, meaning no heads. Now, in the last column, get the probability by getting the ratio of the number of occurrences to the total number of items in each sample space. Since there are 4 items in the sample space, then the probabilities are 1/4, 1/2, and 1/4. A random variable is a capacity that connects a real number with every component in the sample space. It is a variable whose qualities are controlled by chance. In this manner, a random variable is a numerical amount that is derived from the result of an arbitrary trial or experiment. Now determine whether each of the situation calls for a random variable or not. Number 1. The gender of the teachers in your school. If your answer is not a random variable, then you are correct. Number 2. The number of classmates a student have. If your answer is a random variable, then you are correct. Number 3. The number of students who answered the modules. If you answer random variable, then you are correct. Number 4. The method a student submit his or her modules. If your answer is not a random variable, then you are correct. Number 5. The number of teachers in your school. If you answer random variable, then you are correct. Our lesson about random variable is not enough if we will not discuss the type of random variables. There are 2 types of random variables, discrete or continuous. A discrete random variable has a countable number of positive values. Let's have some examples of discrete variables. Number of pens in a box. Number of ants in a colony. Number of ripe bananas in a basket. Number of COVID-19 positive cases. Number of defective batteries. A continuous random variables can assume an infinite number of values in one or more intervals. Let's have some examples of continuous variables. Amount of antibiotics in a vial. Length of electrical wires. Voltage of car batteries. Weight of newborn in the hospital. Amount of sugar in a cup of coffee. Let's have a recap. Discrete random variable. A discrete random variable is a random variable whose values are represented by count data. This happens when a set of possible outcomes from an experiment can be counted. Continuous random variable. It is the random variable that takes values on a continuous scale. This happens when a set of possible outcomes from an experiment cannot be counted but can be measured. Now identify if each random variable is discrete or continuous. Number 1. The weight of your classmate. If you answer continuous, then you are correct. Number 2. Number of emergency calls in an hour from a hotline. If you answer discrete, you are correct. Number 3. Distance traveled by the motorcycle. If you answer continuous, then you are correct. Number 4. Number of COVID-19 cases in your locality. If you answer discrete, you are correct. Number 5. Number of students who graduated. If you answer discrete, you are correct. It has been a great experience learning with you guys. Always remember that learning math takes time. This is Sir Chian. Have fun in learning.